everyone. I'm sorry to get a little late start here, but we had some last minute paperwork to finish up. So thank you for your patience. I appreciate that very much. I will now call the meeting to order for April 28th, 2021 at 5:18 p.m. Mr. Zerlo, would you please call the roll?
Certainly. Mr. Castine.
Here.
Mr. Conroy.
Here.
Mr. Hall.
Here.
Mr. Henry.
Here.
Mr. Hughes.
Here.
Mr. Kretzer.
Here.
Mr. Perrier.
Here.
Mr. Potiker.
Here.
Mr. Timmons.
Here.
Ms. Waldron.
Here.
Thank you, sir. All legislators have received a copy of the stenographer's minute of the April 14th, 2021 regular session. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. May I have a motion?
So
I have a motion by Legislator Hughes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Seeing none, carried. With our virtual format tonight, we will not be having public comment this afternoon. However, members of the public are welcome to express their concerns, comments by emailing us at legislature@clintoncountygov.com. That's legislature@clintoncountygov.com. I think now would be a good time to remind everybody that this is going to be our last virtual meeting. And the next regular session meeting will be in person.
As well, Chairman, Finance Committee as well on May 5th.
Yes, and the Finance Committee as well. Thank you.
Also, every committee of the whole, Finance and regular session, as well as those committees that were virtual because they were taking place immediately prior a regular session, will all be now in person.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. So, Patty, yes.
Would this be a good time to ask if it would be appropriate to move economic development back to the Wednesdays before regular session?
If that works for you, Madam Chair, I think that would be fine.
If Patty, if that's the desire of you as the Madam Chair and your committee members, we'd be happy to facilitate that here. We did, just to remind everybody, we did move it because of the difficulty with, somebody Zooming the Economic Development Committee and immediately followed by the regular session. So it's certainly prudent that since both of those are in person now, that we could facilitate that.
If the committee members want to let me know at some point if it's good with them, then we can go ahead with that.
Wendell and Rob say okay. I don't know about who else is there.
Oh, it looks like we've got thumbs up from the committee, so
Yeah, it looks like it.
we will change.
Oh, there's Calvin. Calvin chimed in.
We will change that to be prior to the first regular session of each month.
Thank you very much.
We will now go to the committee reports. I will call on the chairperson of each committee in alphabetical order by committee, starting with Buildings and Grounds and Legislator Timmons. Rob.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The Buildings and Grounds Committee has not met since the last regular session. Resolution 252 has been placed on the agenda as a result of the committee's recommendations from the April 12th meeting. The Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting scheduled for Monday, May 10th at 4:30 p.m. has been canceled. End of report.
Okay, thank you. Children and Family Services, Legislator Potiker.
Thank you, Chairman. The Children and Family Services Committee has not met since the last regular session. The next Children and Family Services Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, May 4th at 5:15 p.m. End of report.
Thank you. Economic Development and County Operations, Legislator Waldron.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Economic Development and County Operations Committee has not met since the last regular session. The next Economic Development and County Operations Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, May 12th at 4 p.m.
Okay, fine. Yes. Go ahead. Patty, is it okay, if I just make a little mention about economic development? Go ahead. So as we all know, Renee McFarland, is, moving on to a job in Albany. And, I just think it's important that we all realize, she was here for 2.5 years. When she came here, we had had Melissa McManus as the economic developer, and she had been paying her own salary out of her own grant, and she was part-time, and she decided to move on when we wouldn't make a full-time position for Melissa McManus. A lot of that, if you all remember, was related to the fact, for whatever reason. Anyway, once the position was opened up, it was designed so that the IDA would pay the salary of the head of the IDA, who's Renee, and she would also be able to do, the person in that position would also be able to do economic development work for the county. So the theory was it would take 80% of their time or so to do IDA, and then they could also work in county economic development. I think in 2.5 years, Renee went way above and beyond. I think she got to the point where I would say almost half of her work was related to economic development. She was, the IDA, you have to remember, it's a county institution. It's not EDC, it's part of the county.
It is not part of the county.
Okay. It's the county oversees it.
No, the county legislature appoints its members.
Yes, the county legislature appoints its members. My point is, Renee did very good at the IDA. She also expanded the office here and worked very close with the Lisa's office, with the Chamber of Commerce, with the town of Plattsburgh. Did a lot of work getting the old airport developed as far as getting Monahan out there. Monahan put $10 million of private money to expand over to the airport. Renee made a lot of things happen. And I think it's important that we recognize this position. We need to talk about it and make sure that we allow for not only the IDA side of the job to be focused on, but also the economic development. And, we can't depend on the Chamber of Commerce forever. It's important the county has a strong economic development office. Essex County has 2 economic developers. Franklin County has 1 that's paid a lot more than we pay. So I just think we should talk about this position more in the future, and I also think that we should recognize the incredible work Renee did here for 2.5 years. She did, Renee did a good job. All right, thank you. That's a discussion you can have in economic development, I guess, Madam Chairwoman. Anything else, Patty?
Nothing from me.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Finance, Legislator Timmons.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Finance Committee has not met since the last regular session. The committee was pulled on Resolution 253 on today's agenda. The next Finance Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, May 5th at 5:15 p.m. in the Legislative Chambers. End of report.
Thank you. Health, Legislator Hughes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Health Committee has not met since our last regular session. John Canosa, the Director of Public Health, and Eric Day, the Director of Emergency Services, are present to provide a brief update on COVID-19 cases and vaccines. John and Eric?
Go ahead, John.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Just give you a case update first. I'm happy to let you all know that our numbers are steadily improving, in other words, decreasing. Yesterday we had 7 new cases. By Monday night we had 10, and then Sunday 6, Saturday 8, and last Friday 10. So we're loving the definite movement towards single-digit new cases per day. We have a total of 4,623 total lab-confirmed positive cases to date since this all started. We're sitting on a good measure, 64 active cases in isolation right now, which you may recall about 3 weeks ago, we were up in around 120. So much improved there. So total tests done for Clinton County residents, 190,000 and change right now we're sitting at. So that's very positive work being done and a lot of testing for our Clinton County residents. I'm also happy to let you all know that CVPH is down to 6 positive patients in-house. That's an improvement from 9 yesterday. SUNY Plattsburgh, they were at their lowest last week. They spiked a little bit, but they have 9 students in isolation and 16 in quarantine currently. So it's looking much better there. We're very happy. We believe that the vaccination, which is also extended to the SUNY Plattsburgh students, 350 out of 500 surveyed either were going to get their vaccination or had already gotten it, and that was quite surprising to Dr. Kathleen Camello. On the vaccination side of things, last week we were at the Saranac Fire Department. Not many takers. We're getting towards that end. We're at the brick wall now. We're working on those 20% that are on the fence. We had 26 shots given at that first dose clinic. Clinton Community College gym, we did second doses, 306, and a few first doses, another 26. This week we were at Champlain Valley Family Center where we did 100 second doses for OPWDD candidates. Keysville Fire Department today. As I understand, we're up around 30 people who had received their vaccinations there. And we are doing first and second doses Friday at the Clinton Community College gym. So we're looking at a 300 second doses for that. So now this weekend, we will look at doing some of our homebound clients. Those are non-HCR clientele. We've got about 40 in the county that we've tallied up. We're going to try to get a good number of those done with their first dose vaccination for Moderna. Why do I say Moderna? Because none of those 40 clientele that are homebound want J&J anymore as a result of last week and the week before's fiasco with J&J. Everybody has basically changed ship and said, I don't want J&J, I want Moderna. I understand it's 2 shots, but I'll go with Moderna. So, okay, we've got Moderna, you're going to get Moderna. So, next week we're looking at a small first dose clinic up in Altoona at Holy Angels. And then a week after that, we're looking at having a small clinic in Treadwell's Mills. So we're getting out there. We're working hard. We're looking at, in June, we're going to be doing a small outdoor clinic at the Friendly's parking lot in Market 32, Lowe's Plaza there. So that's what we're looking at. We're coming to them because they're not coming to us anymore. So we're trying to get those 30, 40 here, 20, 30 there out in the community. So it's tough pickings, but we're doing it. We're moving forward. So.
So, Eric, before you start, John, so can you, excuse me, can you frame the latest dictates or lack thereof on walk-ins and how our county clinics are handling walk-ins? And secondly, while not your business per se, I know you like to inoculate the entire population. Is there anything we can do in our public announcements to entice that younger generation who's only eligible for Pfizer to get to the state site?
Absolutely. More people pushing is always better, no matter what happens. The push needs to be done from many different fronts. We're doing it here with Eric Day, the Sheriff Favreau's doing it, we're all doing it. I'd appreciate you doing it. Getting those younger kids to get their vaccinations so they can have a lot more leniency over the summer and more enjoyable times mixing it up with their peers in greater numbers, more than one, not necessarily having to keep a 6-foot separation. It's just that the incentive is basically so that you can do more of what you did before COVID came around. We're getting closer to that now. We won't be able to pretty much totally open up until we hit 75, 80% vaccinated. Right now, we're at just about 59, 60% right now. So we are working on the 20% that are on the fence. Not a lot of hope. We always keep banging on the heads of the 20% that don't want it, but you know that 20% of our population is a big no, I'm not getting it, I don't care what you say, and that's where they stand. But we're going to keep popping at them. So, what was the other question you asked me first, Mike?
The what?
Walk-ins.
Oh, the walk-in. Yeah.
The walk-ins. The state is accepting walk-ins right now. When you accept walk-ins, we are at walk-in stage at the end of all of our clinics. Okay, make no mistake. People can come in, and we have had them. However, when you go to that walk-in stage unregistered, the chances of you wasting vaccine are there. Okay, we don't mind wasting 1 or 2. We're all counties, all state vaccination clinics are wasting vaccine right now, to the tune of a couple here, a couple there. We want to keep it that way. When you go to walk-ins without registering, the odds of you having a lot of wasted vaccine increase, okay? So that's the issue with walk-ins. We're going to put that off as long as we can until, you know, we don't have a choice anymore.
So we're not turning them away. We're just not publicly advertising that we're taking
Yes,
them.
that's a very good way to put it, Mr. Eric.
We
Yes.
have had them, and we will vaccinate them. We're not going to turn somebody away.
We never turn anybody away. I think maybe we've turned away 1 or 2 people for the entire vaccination year. But that's because we ran out of vaccine.
And we haven't come back. So it's not like
We push them to come to the next one. Some people don't like to hear that. But that Johnny on the spot just walked in. It's not a good way to go because you don't want to waste the vaccine. In other words, if you've got a 10, 11 dose vial and you crack it, once you crack it, you got to use it. So if you don't use it, you're wasting 9 or 10 doses of vaccine. I don't have a problem, and neither do my nurses, wasting 1, 2, or 3 doses. But when you're wasting 9 or 10, that's a bad thing. So.
Calvin and Rick had questions. Calvin, did you have a question?
Yep, thank you. As I mentioned at the last meeting, I think to help motivate the unvaccinated and the people who are reluctant to do it, it's important for us to show the age groups of those that are currently infected. We could do it on a weekly basis. If the people knew that of our 63 or whatever we currently have infected, 20 of them are age 45, it might get them to think that, well, it's not just the 85-year-old people who are infected. I think we need to break it down once a week and let people know where the categories are.
I can break that down for you right now sitting before you. Right now, about 1/3 of our cases are middle-aged and younger 20-year-old cases. 1/3. General community. 1/3 are school-age children, okay, because I know that's how many cases we're having every day. I had this discussion with Legislator Hughes yesterday, I believe that was. And 1/3 are general community, middle-aged to younger, okay, young adults. 1/3 are SUNY-age kids. Once SUNY goes home in 2 weeks, I'm going to be sitting a lot prettier, all right? 1/3, mostly, and of those, Legislator Castine, the majority of those are off-campus students, 20, 21 years old. And so I got K through 12, I got SUNY students, and I got general community. That's a third broken down like that. For my staff to break it down any further like that, it becomes a difficulty with regard to I&Q, keeping track of where they are. You know what I mean? So I can always be available to give you that general breakdown of where we stand.
Well, I think if you once a week, if you made it part of your report that you post you post it every 5 days a week here. If once a week you posted those numbers, I think it would help and keep it in front of people.
Okay.
Okay. Rick, you had a question?
I did. And John, of those 2/3 that make up this younger population of the infected, how many of those are actually asymptomatic or mild?
Oh, the vast majority are asymptomatic, no doubt,
Okay.
no doubt. I go back to Clinton Correctional Facilities a couple of months ago, 3 months ago maybe, it all blurs together. We had up there, we had 120 inmates were asymptomatic positive. We had 7 who were symptomatic positive. It's always the majority is asymptomatic. Most of the people who get it don't even know they have it, which presents the problem because they never go to the doctor. They keep going to work until they get something that says either another person becomes positive and that makes them be a contact and they get tested positive. They don't know. So the asymptomatic far outweighs. It's either 80 to 20 or 90 to 10 percentage-wise in the breakdown. Asymptomatic rules.
Okay, and the other question was, are they given any credence to natural immunity or no? Is everybody just going to have to get vaccinated whether they had it or not?
Absolutely. The literature on the street right now, the research data, Margaret's hearing reviews this hardcore. If having COVID gives you 90 days, maybe 120 days worth of immunity, it buys you time, but eventually the shot the benefit from the shot far outweighs having COVID and having your immune body reaction from that. It's not as good. Okay, the shot is the key.
Legislator Hall, did you have a question?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. John, a Canadian that flew from Montreal to Florida, which we know they can do, and he's going to come up from Florida to Plattsburgh and spend the summer in Plattsburgh. Can he get a shot here in Plattsburgh?
Yes, yes. The state of New York, as well as our counties, we take the directions of the state. Has he had any shots thus far? No shots?
No, no shots at all.
Okay, even if he had a shot, the state has opened the floodgates. Come and get a shot, okay? And we, as local health departments, follow suit with what the state is doing. So he can get a shot. If he has problems with that, he can call me or Deb Tackett, and we'll work with him, okay? 3 months ago, Jay LePage called me, our old DSS commissioner, and he was going to try to sneak in New York State. I'm like, what are you doing, Jay? Jay, what are you doing? He's going to sneak in New York State to try to get his second shot. And what a lot of the snowbirds are doing, they're not even telling anybody they got their first shot. They're getting their second shot, but saying it's their first shot, so they get the 2 shots. Sneaky, you know? So, yeah, the snowbirds have figured it out. Just like a lot of the college kids have figured out how to bob and weave around isolation and quarantine and contact tracing. They are being tough. They are tough to break through these days, you know? So, yeah.
Okay,
Well, thanks, John.
You're welcome, sir. Yes.
Legislator Kretzer, you have a question.
Yeah, John, I didn't know if you had heard of any local businesses or organizations who are requiring vaccinations for entry for events, or if you've heard of any confirmed cases of that happening yet.
No, I haven't, but I would be impressed, you know, quite frankly, given my role, I would be impressed that they would do that. We do have private colleges right now, and don't forget that other thing we're going to mention here. We do have private colleges like Dartmouth, Syracuse University, my alma mater, just made it a mandate that when the kids come back in the fall, they have to be vaccinated. SUNY is not going to do that because it's an emergency order right now, but they are still pushing their students hardcore to get vaccinated. It's in everybody's best interest for those freshmen through senior students coming back to school to get vaccinated ahead of time. But I have heard talk that the requirement to be vaccinated before you go into this business, before you work at this other business, before you do things like that, go to an event, a circus or a baseball game, is going to be more common. I think it's coming. I'm reading the handwriting on the wall. It's coming. My son works in Hannaford. He saw the handwriting. He says, nothing's going to stand in the way of that boy making his money. So he got his vaccination. He wanted to get it over with. So, you know, so I think it's going to be more commonplace. You're going to hear more about that. So, what was it about the school? Oh, we're
Thank
working
you.
with the schools also. I need to let you all know very closely in a publicity campaign to really try to ramp up desire by the parents of the students that are right now 16 through 18 to get their shots. Okay. Word on the street from Dr. Wouter Rietzema at CVPH is that that's going to change to include 12 to 15-year-olds in addition. So that's coming down the pipe, and that's for Pfizer. They can get Pfizer. It is specific to Pfizer. So I'm hoping that happens sooner than later so we can start pushing towards the families of the kids to get them vaccinated. So another piece. Thank you for reminding me, Eric. Okay, sorry.
Any other questions? Legislator Waldron?
So, John, it's okay if, say, I had an event for maybe one night a week for people who have been vaccinated, if I had music, and if so, are the mask mandates still on?
The mask mandate is still on, yes. The mask mandate. If it's outdoor, there's some loosening up of that. Check the CDC website. They've got this nice chart that says what you can do. But if you're focused on vaccinated people for your event, which I've not heard of that yet, that sounds like a great idea to me, Patty. I'll come over there, you know. I think you
Are you vaccinated, John?
What's
John,
that?
did you get vaccinated? Did you get vaccinated, John?
He's got 4 shots.
Yeah. Yeah, I went for extra, I always like a bonus, So, Patty, I think you have more ability to be looser than if people weren't vaccinated, okay? I think there's some ability in there, okay?
Anyone else? Any questions? Mr. Day, yeah, go ahead.
So I just wanted to say thank you to John Canoza for being such a great public health coach. Always positive and excited, working hard through this whole process.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Eric, did you have anything to add before we move on?
John covered it pretty well. The only other small piece that I could add is just visibility on the state site. Still functioning over there on the airport property. Yesterday they had 83 new first doses. As John mentioned, all the state sites now are open to walk-ins as of today for 16 years and up. So their number might jump a little bit. We don't know. We have no hard indication on when they may close, but they've laid a lot of people off. A lot of the part-time staff they picked up to do vaccinations. They're down to 5 vaccination stations, and the appointments looking down the road in the future you aren't able to schedule out anywhere near as far as you were. So the rumor around the place is sometime next month they may close, but as
Close for first doses, correct? They got to keep the tail open for the second dose.
correct, close for first doses,
Right.
maybe early next month,
Yeah.
and then another 3 weeks after that to finish off what they started.
We have to remember to talk to them before they leave about the booster doses that we might be needing, which is sounding like we're going to be needing in the fall, early winter, at the end of this year, booster doses. So that's critical. I mean, they probably won't know anything, but it's always good to hammer them. I like hammering them,
That's all
Hey,
I had.
Legislator Hughes, anything to close it out?
I'd just like to thank John and Eric for all you guys do. I mean, you guys have done a great job. The Health Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, May 4th at 4:30 p.m. End of report, sir.
Thank you. What, did I miss somebody? Just?
No, just waving
Oh,
by.
I thought I missed something.
No.
I normally do. Human Services, Legislator Perrier.
Thank you. Human Services Committee has not met since the last regular session. The next Human Services Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, May 11th at 4:15. End of report.
Thank you, sir. Personnel, I will handle that. The Personnel Committee has not met since the last regular session. Next Personnel Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, May 3rd at 4 p.m. Plattsburgh International Airport, Legislator Hall.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. On April 27th, there was a tour conducted on the runway closure project with various county employees and area legislators. They were very pleased with the progress of the project and look forward to the runway reopening on June 23rd. I will say that everybody that was there, thank you for showing up. And also, we were impressed that they're moving along really fast. So hopefully, with no delays, we will be right on target for the 23rd. And if it was a little sooner, that would be great also. Plattsburgh International Airport Committee met earlier today. Resolutions 254 through 265 have been placed on the as a result of the committee's recommendation. The next Plattsburgh International Airport Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, May 26th at 4 p.m. in the chambers. Thank you very much. End the report.
Chairman Hall, just a small addition. Resolutions 281 and 282 that your committee considered under other business are on the agenda under Waive Rule 13.2. And one resolution that was in the original packet has been withdrawn, although it was discussed at your committee meeting. That resolution will be on the next regular session agenda.
That's right. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for bringing that up. And I'd like to thank you and Kim both for showing up yesterday. That was really nice to have you there.
Yes, sir. Bobby, what's the update with some of the tenants in the airport? Like, how are things going with Beta?
Beta is doing very well. They're looking to expand into the warehouse, and they're looking for more room. They're doing very well. Everybody else is very happy, and we're still looking for new tenants.
Yeah, and I think everybody knows we're seeking grant money both from the federal government and the state government to enhance the facility to further our conversations with Beta.
Exactly right.
That's great news. Thanks. All right. Public Safety, Legislator Castine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Public Safety Committee has not met since the last regular session. The committee was polled, however, on resolutions 266 through 269, which are on today's agenda. The next Public Safety Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for this Monday, May 3rd at 5 p.m. End of report.
Thank you. Transportation Committee, Legislator Kretzer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Transportation Committee has not met since the last regular session. The committee was polled on resolution number 270 on today's agenda, and the next Transportation Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, May 10th at 5:15 p.m. End of report.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to Liaison Reports. Heard from Board of Health. Chamber of Commerce, Legislator Potiker.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there's no report on the chamber other than I have a meeting scheduled tomorrow with the chamber, and then I will be at another meeting on the 7th in the morning. It's their regularly scheduled meeting and should have a report for the next regular session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Cooperative Extension, Legislator Timmons.
No report, Chairman.
Discipline Review, nothing. Grievance, nothing. Inter-County, Legislator Waldron.
No report.
Okay. LCLG, Legislator Kretzer or Legislator Hughes?
LCLG hasn't met since April 13th, and Beth Gillis has not sent out the next meeting yet, so no report.
Okay, thank you. Soil and Water, Legislators Perrier and or Timmons.
I have no report.
Okay, Legislator Perrier, same. Okay, I got it. And Workforce Development Board, Legislator Kretzer.
There is no report at this time.
Thank you, sir. Staff members, Ms. Kelleher, do you have something?
I do. I would like to request an executive session so that we can discuss pending litigation. I'm sorry, contractual relationships.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Zerl.
Two, very briefly, we had hoped to expect the first the first tranche of the federal American Rescue Plan money on April 26th. Although we have confirmed our electronic routing information, we have not received that money yet. So still hopeful. And should that happen, when that happens, we're still waiting for Treasury guidance on our ability to use that money. So stay tuned. Secondly, and I probably should have discussed it at the airport, under the airport conversation, but there are 4 resolutions on tonight: Resolution 255, Resolution 257, Resolution 259, and Resolution 261 that the committee passed out a committee that asked that I add additional language indicating that the local share associated with those resolutions most likely will be covered by CARES Act funding. So the resolutions as they read tonight will indicate a local share, that those local shares most likely will go away. We'll be adding language indicating that the CARES Act money will cover that local share.
Anything else, sir?
No.
Okay. I only have to add, I've already mentioned that our next regular session and finance meeting will be in the legislative chambers. I just want to remind everybody that masks will be required on that. And again, I know Chairman Paul mentioned it, the airport tour. I want to thank Bob for putting that together. I went along with a lot of you. It was very interesting. I was really surprised how far along they came. When I pulled out there, I didn't know what to expect, but it was certainly more done than I thought would be done. They're doing a good job. So, Bobby, thank you very much for putting that together and taking the time to do it. I learned a lot from that. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chairman.
Just another note on the airport, Bobby, and everybody. It's incredible that all these years everyone was haunted by this idea we're going to have to close the airport to repave it. And it turned out that we were able to do it at this time during COVID and have it funded how it was funded. It's just working out well. And my hope is we'll see the border opening up before, I would like to, obviously we'd all like to see it open, but I think it might open this summer. We'll see.
We hope you're right. Moving along, I don't see anything else up there. Okay. Before voting on the resolutions, I want to note that the majority of the resolutions have been discussed by the appropriate committees, and the legislature is taking action tonight based in large part on the recommendation of those committees. Mr. Zerlo, would you please read the titles of the resolutions to be acted upon?
Certainly. Resolution 252, awarding requests for qualifications for engineering services, buildings and grounds.
Motion, Legislator Timmons. Second, Legislator Perrier. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Carried. Resolution 253, awarding bid for tax bill printing services, Treasurer's Office.
Motion, Legislator Timmons. Second, Legislator Hall. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 254, authorizing acquisition of snow removal equipment grant application, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, Legislator Hall. Second, Legislator Hughes. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 255, authorizing agreement with CNS Engineers Incorporated for design and bidding services of snow removal equipment project, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, Legislator Hall. Second, Legislator Perrier. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 256, authorizing de-icing pad and fluid collection system design project grant application, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, Legislator Hall. Second, Legislator Potiker. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Waldron?
Yes.
Carried. Resolution 257, authorizing agreement with CNS Engineers Incorporated for design and bidding services for de-icing pad and fluid collection system design project, Plattsburgh International.
Motion legislator Hall, second legislator Timmons. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 258, authorizing the rehabilitation of taxiway A pavement and general aviation apron Phase 2 design grant application, Plattsburgh International.
Motion legislator Hall, second legislator Hughes. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 259, authorizing agreement with CNS Engineers for design and bidding services for rehabilitation of taxiway A, pavement and general aviation apron Phase 2 design project, Plattsburgh International.
Motion legislator Hall, second legislator Perrier. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Waldron?
Yes.
Great.
Resolution 260, authorizing environmental mitigation, perimeter fence and access road removal, construction project grant application, Plattsburgh International.
Motion legislator Hall, second legislator Potiker. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Great.
Thought we lost you there for a second, Ms. Waldron.
Oh,
Resolution 261, authorizing agreement with CNS Engineers for construction, observation, and administration of the environmental mitigation, perimeter fence and access road removal, construction project, Plattsburgh International.
motion legislator Hall, second legislator Timmons. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Great.
Resolution 262, authorizing temporary precision approach pathway indicator system grant application, Plattsburgh International.
Motion legislator Hall, second legislator Hughes. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 263, authorizing contract with Hartson Total Opening, Plattsburgh International.
Motion legislator Hall, second legislator Perrier. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 264, authorizing contract amendment with Core Climate Systems LLC, Plattsburgh International.
Motion legislator Hall, second legislator Potiker. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 265 has been withdrawn. Resolution 266, authorizing payment of membership dues, emergency services.
Motion legislator Castine, second legislator Hall. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 267, authorizing 2018 statewide interoperability communications formula-based grant extension, emergency services.
Motion legislator Castine, second legislator Perrier. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 268, authorizing 2019-2020 public safety answering point operations grant extension.
Motion legislator Castine, second legislator Potiker. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 269, authorizing contract with Motorola Solutions, emergency service.
Motion legislator Castine, second legislator Waldron. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 270, authorizing lease purchase agreement for the purchase of a 2021 Case CX-160D excavator highway.
Motion legislator Castine, second legislator Hall. Discussion.
Just Chairman, just to remind everybody, this piece of equipment was approved in the 2021 budget, being paid for all from CHIPS funding except for the interest payments, which are not allowable expense, and that's what was that levy that was in the levy in the budget.
Okay, thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 271, authorizing the county treasurer to increase appropriation and corresponding revenue for the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act grant, employment and training.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Kretzer. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 272, authorizing the county treasurer to increase appropriation and corresponding revenue for the Workforce Investment Act grant, employment and training.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Kretzer. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 273, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriation and corresponding revenue for the Home Energy Assistance Program, Social Services.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Potiphar. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 274, authorizing the county treasurer to increase appropriation and corresponding revenue for insurance reimbursement, Sheriff's Department.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 275, I apologize, Chairman.
Carried. It's the only thing I do.
Resolution 275, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriation from the Highway County Road Reserve for the footbridge over the Ausable River inspection, Highway Department.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Kretzer. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 276, authorizing the county treasurer to reappropriate 2020 funds for various accounts, Treasurer's Office.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 277, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriation and corresponding revenue for the Rural Private Water Well Assistance Funds Grant, Health Department.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Hughes. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 278, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriation and corresponding revenue for the Youth Scholarship Grant, Youth Bureau.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Potiphar. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Resolution 279, approving reappointments to the Clinton County Human Rights Commission Legislature.
Legislator Waldron and Perrier, 5-5.
Yes.
Yes.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 280, authorizing memorandum of understanding with the New York State Department of Health Legislature.
Motion, legislator Hughes. Second, legislator Castine. Discussion?
I believe I've mentioned to the board this issue previously. We all know that we leased space for the state vaccination site on Connecticut Avenue, and that contract was with the New York State Office of General Services. That contract did not include overtime costs associated with 2 members of the county staff who the state requested act as safety officers at the site. I negotiated with New York State Department of Health to get that expense reimbursed, and that's what this resolution does, is authorize the memorandum of understanding with the New York State DOH to seek that reimbursement.
Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Great. Can I have a motion to waive Rule 13.2? Need a motion? Motion by legislator Hughes. May I have a second? Second by legislator Waldron. All
Aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 281, authorizing the Clinton County Purchasing Agent to solicit requests for proposals to operate fixed-based operation, Plattsburgh International.
Motion legislator Hall, second legislator Timmons. Discussion.
I got a question. How and where are we advertising that?
Well, not on the newspaper, industry, mechanisms, so the purchasing agent keeps a list of vendors in every certain category, so those folks will get interest. I know Chris will also put it in his aviation category.
What about the chamber?
Yeah, I don't know who they would reach, but I know that Mr. Douglas was in fact on the Zoom call, the Plattsburgh International meeting, so he's well aware of it.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 282, authorizing lease amendment with Paramount Enterprises International, Plattsburgh International.
Motion legislator Hall, second legislator Potter. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier,
Yes.
Ms. Waldron.
Yes.
Thank you. I believe that does for resolutions. Is that correct, Mr. Newell? I think that's it.
That is, sir.
Okay. Is there anything to come before the legislature? I'd like to get a motion. Go ahead.
I just didn't, I wanted to mention one last thing, right?
Mention what?
One last thing,
Go ahead.
before the session. I just wanted to also mention in regard to the, IDA position, economic development position, that Renee McFarland is currently in the 2.5 years that she's been there, she has been able to oversee a positive bank account like the IDA, and part of the original hope was that the head of the IDA would be able to be paid out of the IDA's bank account. They collect fees from whenever there's a project like the DRI downtown or the Violet's home or any different project it works with, they collect 0.07% of the total project, and that's how they run. We pay Renee. My point is, when we started, I don't think there was much money in the account, and we were concerned, would the IDA always be able to pay this person? And now, I talked with her, and she said there is, I believe, 500,000 or so in the account, and the only big expenses that come out of that account are to pay her and to pay their IDA. So I think it's fair to say that the IDA is doing good right now as far as continuing to fund.
I don't believe it's quite as high as you said, but yes, we have seen a considerable turnaround to the point of, as I think you were referencing, the backstop agreement that the county had with the IDA, such that if their fees did not cover their expenses, the county would backstop the loss until such time as they could reimburse the county. We are not even close to being in jeopardy of that.
So essentially, what you're saying is, Clinton County was going to have to pay Renee McFarland's salary, or the IDA head's salary, or the economic developer's salary, if there wasn't enough money in the IDA's bank account. And it looks like things are going really good right now with the IDA's ability to pay that.
That is accurate.
Okay, thank you. Anything further? I'll take a motion to go into executive session. Motion. I have a motion by legislator Conroy, second by legislator Hall. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're in executive session. Give us a minute.
Resolution 283.
We're back on?
Yes.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Resolution 283, affording department heads, management, confidential employees the negotiated 2021 salary increase of the CSEA General Unit Legislature.
I have a motion by legislator Timmons, a second by legislator Hall. Discussion. Yes.
I would just like to say that these positions are incredibly important to the county, I'm specifically talking about the department heads. I think that Mike Zerlo has done an incredible job making sure all of the department heads are doing a good job running the department, and that's a huge task, and we benefit from it. And I do think we need to realize that we can't depend on that forever, and we should decide on some way that we can, better determine which department heads might be getting a raise and which might not. But for now, I think Mike makes sure everybody's doing a good job.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. There's nothing further to come before the board, the legislature, I should say. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by I have a second by legislator Waldron. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.